The intro's going to be hilarious. Oh, yeah, there's lots of cameras. This thing's legit-ness.
Stop saying legit-ness.
That'll make me.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the first ever episode, sort of Morning Shootaround. My name is Tino Fera, and I'm joined by a couple of my co-hosts here, a couple of guys that I'm sure everybody wants to hear from a little bit more. They want to hear from me. So let's get into that real quick. We'll get a bit of a rundown as to what everyone can expect from the show, what the show's going to be, what's going to come up in the future. So without further ado, my two co-hosts, one of them is, I can pretty confidently say, the third best lacrosse player in this room, and then the other one is the face of the NLL that doesn't currently play in the NLL. Christian Del Bianco and Tyler Pace. Fellas, what's going on? How are we?
Doing well. This is pretty exciting stuff. Can't lie.
Are you sure?
Yep. I think that this is a bit long overdue. Delbs and I have been talking about doing I've been talking to Delbs about doing something like this for several years, and Delbs just brushes me off. But now that we've got a cool host, some cool cameras, a nice facility to do it in, he seems to be bought in a little bit. So I'm really excited for this. I think we're going to do some pretty cool stuff, maybe unique, I guess, to the lacrosse world. You'll get to see a little bit of mine and Christian's relationship, which can be comical at times. At least I think so. And yeah, like we're good buddies. I've been working with you, Tino, in different projects throughout the years, and I've always been happy with my experience with you, and you've always done, the more important thing is you've always done a good job, and I've kind of followed your journey a little bit and seen how far you've come. So bringing you on as the host of this and for you to be, happy to kind of agree to doing it is a leap of faith. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate everything that's going on here, and then obviously having Mr. Klarner behind the scenes there.
He's our Jamie.
He's our Jamie without the computer.
Yeah, Delbs, feel free to chime in here. You've been giggling since you put headphones on.
I'm just happy to be here. If you build it, they'll come. So Tyler rented this gym just so he could have a podcast. So all the power to him.
You know what? Let's actually start there. Why did you agree when he first brought this idea to you? Why did you say yes?
I mean, we're pretty good buddies, believe it or not, considering every interview we've ever done in Calgary is pretty much us butchering each other. But he's been going at it for years, and finally Tino came on, so we have somebody to actually organize us and make sure we have topics to talk about, not just us in the backseat of a car yelling at each other on the way to the airport. So
I should also say as well, you called me the host a couple times. I need to make this clear. The three of us are co-hosts. I'm mostly here to just kind of steer the ship and then let you guys go on your
IT department.
Yeah, IT department, whatever.
Man of many titles.
Tino also has a DJ box in front of him that he can push buttons at any time and make some cool sounds. Bingo.
Yeah, so
value.
Pretty high budget here at Pro Caliber Lacrosse.
That's right.
Pacer, let's get into a little bit. I mean, you alluded to some of the stuff as to like what you think the show can be. You mentioned like some unique things. Like what are you imagining the show being down the run?
To be honest, I think it's kind of an unfiltered lacrosse podcast. Like I don't necessarily know that it's only going to be lacrosse players. Obviously, those are most of the people in my network, and Christian's got a bit bigger of a network. He's much more Italian than I am. But I think that this can be something where like people can relate to the stories. People kind of get a sense of Christian's humor, of my humor. They'll hopefully follow Christian on X, the Everything app, and be able to see some of his antics, because if you're not following him, if you don't really understand his vibe, he can come off pretty cold. But I think really we're going to be able to bring in some high level people, some big names, and get to hear some more fun stories. I think not so much the how's your lacrosse journey and all that stuff. Of course we're going to get to that, but we want to get to know the people, and we want our fans to get to know those people as well.
Anything to add?
Yeah, I know. I think just like even the guys that come in and out of the gym, like Reed Bowering, Eli Salam, we saw today, Keegan Bell, like these are all guys that we'll probably have on the podcast down the road. And I think just for the most part, like, we'll talk about maybe like 60% lacrosse, but the other 40% is just going to be us being idiots, talking about all like the little stuff that we do on a day-to-day. And
Well, I feel like that could be a good entry point, because I think when people see this and they see you specifically, Delbs, are on a microphone and things are being recorded, they're going to want to hear about what's going on in your lacrosse life, because as mentioned, you are quite literally like you are one of the faces of the National Lacrosse League, and you're not involved right now. You're just a full-blown fan right now.
yeah, I would say would be the wording on that one.
Fair enough.
But,
next major league.
Yeah, just playing in the ALL, it's been quite the journey there. And
he's not the face of that league.
No,
I'll tell you
no.
that.
You know what? There were some tough times, but the Grizz are on a 3-game run right now. We got Toru, Japanese Jesus, just executing for us right now. So it's pretty fun atmosphere, honestly, in that league. It's a little different, right? Everyone's paying to play. Like, it's a love of the game league. So it's nice that the boys are getting some wins, and it's probably good for my mental health, because it's pretty hard going to kind of a lower league and not being able to will your team to wins.
What was the vibe in Calgary? I would imagine you guys probably knew that this decision was on the horizon. I would imagine. I mean, like, tell me if I'm wrong, but like, what's the vibe in the group chat when the social media post comes out from Delbs saying, I'm not playing it? And also, we should say, you said in that post, like, you were pretty clear, or it's pretty easy to tell your destination of choice is like San Diego or Vancouver. Because you said
And
you
it's
wanted
not
to,
San Diego.
and it's just based on like Western. Everybody's like, it's one of those two.
I thought I made it pretty clear, but
What's the vibe when that comes through?
To be honest, I think the bulk of us knew that it was coming long before I should say the post came out. I mean, Christian and I are sitting on a couch doing a podcast together. We definitely talk. We definitely talk outside of our group chats. So I think it was known that it was going to come down the pipe, and he kind of let us know before the post was made public that was happening. So anybody that was relatively new to the team or unaware of the situation was made aware before it went public. But I think that post going public really made it real. In a sense, it's always, talk is cheap, but when you actually do something like that, it's a bold step, and Christian's a pretty bold guy, and he's a big guy too. So the post itself, it wasn't much of a shock, but I think the aftermath of it and now where we're at is really what's like intriguing people.
Are you still in the group chat?
No, I took myself out of the group chat.
Good for you.
Like, I just kind of said, hey, boys, this is happening, and pieced it. I didn't want to leave, like, any sort of line for anyone to try to entice me to coming back or anything like that. I kind of knew my decision and didn't want to have any of those awkward conversations, so just kind of told the boys thanks for having me over the years, and it was obviously nothing against the team and the roster. Like, the guys there are awesome, right? There's so many guys that are still my friends to this day. It was just a personal decision, right? So...
Well, so now
business.
you're kind of watching from a fan's perspective. Like, how many, like, are you watching games every weekend? I mean, you're always chiming in on Twitter and stuff.
I'm an absolute fangirl of the league. Like, right? I like to think that, like, I'm not biased and I just cheer for my buddies and, like, I'll cheer for everyone. But, like, there's a couple teams that I still, like, I'm rooting against sometimes,
Who?
right?
Tell it. Who?
No. Whoa. No, but
He's
yeah.
still an asset to be traded. Like, at the end of the day, you can't talk shit about other teams.
Yeah, screw San Diego.
Okay, well, so
Heard it here first.
So, I mean, you say you want to come out west, but I mean, before any of that even happens, like we said, you are a fan. So we were kind of joking before, the mantra that the league is going by right now is the next major league. And like, I've been asking people recently, I have my opinions as to why I don't think that that's what this league is, at least not yet, not really anytime soon, maybe in the future, we'll see. But like, from yourself now, you've had the perspective of recently a fan, not so recently a player and one of the faces. Like, what's going on with that? Like, what do you think when you hear the next major league is, like, what's holding it back?
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty loaded question because I don't want the commissioner against me here. Like,
we'll get him on.
We'll get him on. We were talking about that.
I think a big part of it, like, there's some moments where you watch the league and you're like, man, this is so legit. You go to Buffalo, you go to Calgary, Vancouver's bumping, right? and then like you had the Fort Worths, right? Like, and you have the Georgias still that are a little struggling. So I think it's like, yeah, like it's the talk's great and the bit of momentum's good, but you have those kind of one or two little things that still like I think it was Nick Rose was announced as Thomas Kajak on the TSN stream the other day.
Yeah,
like,
they had Doug Jamieson and Thomas Kajak on
it's just
as
like,
the text.
and it's not a big thing, right? It's just like little things that like the NHL doesn't have that.
Yeah. Do you have any take into this realm?
Money's a big thing.
We need more
We
money.
definitely need more money. I mean, it's tough. We know that there are teams that are definitely in the green. At the end of the year, their bottom line is green, not red. But we know that there are teams that are definitely in the red. So it's a weird balancing act between, you know, the teams that aren't as fortunate to have to keep up with the teams that are. And that's kind of how you see all these free agents going to one or two places when they can.
What places?
San Diego.
Just wondering.
San Diego. But that's an owner that's willing to spend the money. Obviously, he's worked hard for his money, and I'm sure he's not making much on the investment right now, but he sees the value in our sport. So we need more people like that who are willing to push the envelope a little bit and force other people to keep up. It's a money thing. It's, you know, little ticky-tack things along the way. You know, you watch a broadcast on what feels like TSN 8 the Ocho, and there's an ad, but there's a commercial break, but there's no advertisements. There's
Just Krob getting called fat.
Krob getting called fat, and all these little things. You can hear the sound bites. You can hear the announcers in the background talking over. It's like, you know, let's get some ads. Let's get some revenue in those ad spaces, and maybe then we can start to generate a little bit of revenue that probably not for the players, but at least the league starts to get more in the positives. And then, you know, these expansions can go into maybe bigger cities with better situations because the owners of those other actual major leagues are going to be like, hey, this might be worthwhile to buy into. Let's take a chance on it.
So you guys obviously heard that clip of the Colorado guy calling C-Rob fat and out of shape. Did he hear that also?
I mean, it was
I think
all over
everybody.
Twitter.
I think Connor Robinson probably heard that 6,000 times.
I will say he's probably one of the best people that could take that. Like,
Yeah.
he would think it's funny, right? It is a little offside. And
Yeah, we were actually at a camp in Maple Ridge the other day, and Keegan Bell was there, Connor Robinson was there coaching, and one of the kids went up to Keegan and said, like, you're kind of fat. And Keegan went to Connor and was like, can you believe that? Like, this kid called me fat. And Connor was like, oh, was it on national television? I thought that's pretty good. But that's like Connor's sense of humor. He can make a laugh out of it, but that sucks. Like, that should not happen.
That's also like, I probably shouldn't publicly complain about the broadcast side of things, considering that's the field of work that I'm in, but it's so hard to not to, and that is legitimately my nightmare. The fact that it's something about the games that are on in America when they're being televised in Canada, you can't turn off the hot mic. So when there's commercial breaks going on, the mics just stay on. So if you don't know that, if you don't know to press the cough button to talk to whoever you're doing the game with, everything you say is going to be coming through on the broadcast. And I've never seen, aside from the lower level sports that are like roof ball, that's just being live streamed on YouTube. Like, you see that there, NHL, NFL, and that I've never seen that in any other professional league before.
So there is a button you can press.
There's a cough button. Yeah.
Do we have a cough button?
Yeah.
It's just a cough sound.
I'm going to let you guys figure it out though.
If there is a cough button, that should be part of the job.
It should be a big red button.
Yeah.
That should just be like auto. You know that as a day one broadcaster, like, you're pressing that button when the game's not on.
So do you guys pay attention then that much? Because that's my biggest gripe with the league saying the next major league is it's almost always centered around the broadcast. And this is the part that I shouldn't be like as publicly, negative about, but it's the broadcasters specifically.
You could do better.
I mean, you said it, not me. Like there are a handful of them that are unreal. There are also a handful of them that have clearly never watched any other film aside from like the one team they broadcast for. Do you guys also, like the players, do they pay attention to that stuff as well?
Yeah, definitely. Like and I don't want to name names of places, but there are some teams in the States who clearly have, maybe they're good in hockey broadcasting or football broadcasting or baseball broadcasting, and it's like, oh, we'll just bring that person on to do the lacrosse game, but they've never watched a lacrosse game, and they see a ref, put their hand up for a reset, and they're saying, oh, delayed penalty every 30 seconds. So it's little things like that where, maybe as a casual fan you don't notice, but as a casual fan you're never going to really be able to understand what's going on if the person telling you about the game also doesn't understand what's going on. But I'm also assuming that comes down to money, which is the idea that, there's just not enough money being pushed into the league. And I think there's ad space available all over the place. And if they put some money into, finding sponsors, finding people that can broadcast these games or do ads during those commercial breaks, then maybe they can pay some better quality broadcasters to do the in-game stuff.
Yeah, agreed. I was always so rattled. I can say this because the team isn't around anymore. The Panther City play-by-play guy drove me crazy because he would say a score and a score, or if the ball would go out of play, no matter, it would go like off of Damude's pad and out of play, or the shot would go wide. He'd be like, "Dodge with the shot, no." Like, and it's just like that all game, every game.
But I would say like there's a vast majority of NLL players that watch games on mute. And
really?
Like, regularly, you'll have a comment in a group chat of somebody saying like, "Hey, man, like, can you hear this guy right now?" Like the other day, like I'm not going to name the game, but the other day there was multiple people going off saying like, "Man, this guy's dog died today." Like it was so depressing. Like nothing goals, like home team, away team. There was just like, and I'm sure like maybe it was his first time, but it's like if you're a new fan tuning in, like he's not excited about it. Why would you be? So I think there is kind of that tough line between, I agree with Tyler, where it's like they're not flying people across the country for every single game, but especially in some of these American markets, right, where you have a guy who maybe has a bit of field lacrosse background calling it, it's just not great.
Yeah.
While we're at it, special edition Friday Night Lacrosse on Saturday is crazy.
Dude,
So
that's
funny.
crazy. It's like happened 4 times this
it's
year.
a marketing genius.
Like Thursday night football doesn't happen on Wednesday. Am I the only one thinking this?
I think, legitimately, I've thought this since the first time it happened. I think that TSN made the graphic of Friday Night Lacrosse, and then they don't want to make another one. So they use that, they recycle it for all the games. That's legitimately what I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a crazy. Like we were in one of those games, Friday night game on Saturday. I mean, it's like a joke in the locker room. Like that's a joke that we're having with each other. That this is, how can this be a thing?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I complained about this last year as well. This is turning into just like a complaining heavy.
Yeah, we're just going against the league.
Soon
early.
I'm going to be in the
Yeah,
ALL.
you're going to be paying for the Grizz, baby.
Yeah, you know, whatever. We'll move on. Let's talk about a little bit. I mean, you just got traded in another league, and that's a league that you're going back to for the first time in a while. I wrote in my notes here, nature is healing, because myself as a senior C player, now all the guys that should be playing senior B will leave my league to go play senior B. All of you guys who have been playing on this all-star team in Ladner will go back to your senior A teams.
Another victim, eh?
It's just, yeah.
I can't believe you did that to Tino.
Yeah, my bad, Tino.
My wrists are getting carved up every weekend, and I'm just like, I got to go to work the next day. Thanks, gues.
You ruined the senior C league by playing B.
Yeah.
Hey, defending champs, thank you very much.
Same.
Humble brag.
3-time.
2-time.
Would you shut the fuck up? What are the thoughts going back into the WLA for the first, like, how many years has it been since you played WLA lacrosse? Before COVID?
I don't know if he ever played. He
Yeah, I
might have
played
had
one.
A
I
half
played-
season in Victoria.
I played in the Man Cup. Ever heard of it? Yeah, we beat. I played for Langley one season. I was actually like technically a second-year player. I just stayed in Denver for my first season, so I wasn't
Sorry.
here.
Side note, bullshit rookie of the year. Second
Was
year
going to
player.
get to that. Second year, got drafted, didn't play. Next year I played, rookie of the year. Whatever. Next year after that, we win the NLL championship. Oh, is that good? And then I break my ankle in my first practice back to Langley. Kind of sit out, get traded to Victoria, dominate Christian's team, who was on the Burrards that summer, go to the Mann Cup, get reverse swept. So that's my experience in the WLA.
You're forgetting a big part of your WLA career.
What's that?
When Langley trades for Matt Beers and Robert Church.
Oh, yeah.
And you're in the back of the Roughnecks bus talking about, man, we're going to be a wagon.
Oh, yeah.
And then
The trade is me.
Somebody breaks it to you that you're the one who went to Burnaby the other way.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Delbs, were you in net for Maple Ridge when Pace scored that like half court?
I wasn't
Buzzer
in the
beat.
net, but I was on the bench when Steve Hayes ran on the floor like a giant grown child.
Yeah, he's
flailing his
excited
arm.
about winning.
I thought Robbie Dalzell was going to jump on the floor and maul him. Like, I've never seen somebody more upset in my life. But yeah, I was there for that.
Just slamming the door. Change. 1, 2. Nice job.
You're an idiot.
So you're back in the WLA.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry, that was a tangent. I'm back. Playing for New West this summer. Looks like they're loading up. I guess we're loading up, trying to make a run at the Mann Cup. Obviously, it being back east is not going to be easy. It never is.
It's not
back east.
Wow.
Cut that.
No,
That's
that
staying.
is not
That's
getting cut.
staying.
I'll just restart.
Anything else here?
Back in New West, obviously,
Historic place to win a Man Cup.
obviously being, hopefully hosting in New West this year. It's a historic place. They've won the most Man Cups. I'm just throwing facts out here. They've won the most Man Cups. Fact or fiction, Jamie? Look it up.
Fact.
Fact. They've won the most Man Cups, so it's a storied franchise.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be a part of it. And,
Are you sure? This is a tough entry to your New West
I'm
career.
excited to be. To be honest, I'm in the middle of my NLL season. I'm not paying a whole lot of attention to summer ball right now. But my guy Chris Hackle there, he
Can't shake him.
Can't shake him. He brought me in, and we'll see what we can do.
And Delbs, you're back as well. You're going back to Coquitlam.
I'm back in Coquitlam. I'll
Yeah.
be a hometowner for now on, at least for the near future here.
What's the vibe like for you being back in the WLA?
I mean, I think it's nice. I think the Senior B circuit was quite the experience. I think the first year of it, I was like telling Tyler, man, what did you talk me into here? And then you go to your first President's Cup, and it's like, okay, this is pretty sick. And then obviously the second one in Ladner, and kind of we did our part there, and we're kind of involved in a pretty special team and organization, and now everyone's kind of going their own way. And as you said, nature's healing. Guys are going back to Senior A, so I'll be a hometown guy in Coquitlam this summer.
For yourself, like being a goalie in Senior B, and especially with Ladner having this you must have been bored.
Yeah, have you ever been chirped by your own team when you get scored on? Like that's that league.
He doesn't play goalie.
Yeah, like everyone's just roasting you. You let in a goal in North Shore, and they're, oh, what bad light in Delbs. Everyone's, it's like they're pigeons skating by you. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
tough team to be an insecure person.
yeah, that locker room's crazy. But yeah, I mean, if you don't make the first save in a Senior B game and you're the NLL
Yeah.
MVP, like you're gonna hear about
People
it.
forget that we went on a 27-goal run after that.
Yeah, it was one. We started the season down 1-0 and had over 100 shots in the game and won the game like 29-1 or something.
Oh my God. I remember doing like my, because I'm an experienced broadcaster and journalist. I was doing some prep before the President's Cup, looking up everyone's stats before, and just looking through the regular season stats and seeing like your point total from the regular season was just like, is everything going in? Like, has anybody made a save against any of this offense?
Lots of them. Lots of saves. But yeah, I mean, we had a good team. What can I say? We're playing.
Man, you were the sickest Senior B player I've
I was
ever
good
seen.
at Senior B. I was good at Senior B. We'll see. I mean, hopefully
Hopefully it
I can
translates.
hopefully it translates to Senior A a little bit.
Yeah, we might have to hire you a bodyguard, though. No Ryan Keith out there in
No
the senior
Ryan Keith,
circuit
yeah.
for you.
Yeah, I did. I felt on that Senior B team, just the situation that I was personally in, I legit felt invincible. Like it was like if somebody slashes me on the wrist, 3 guys are coming to beat that guy up. So I could just do and say whatever I want to do. I was not
it went
a
to his
good
head.
guy. Yeah, I was not a good
I've never
guy.
seen somebody throw more fake cross checks and slashes.
Yeah.
Like
Is
our
that-
whole back end would just be, oh, great, now I got to go fight somebody for Tyler.
Does that include in the President's Cup? Because like it seems like there's prison rules out there
yeah,
at the
he was
Prezi.
1-0 in his fight in the President's Cup.
Did you fight?
Yeah, he
Well, it
hugged
was
him.
a little,
He hugged him.
little scuffle. I
He
threw a
hugged
couple
him.
punches. I landed one.
Rabbit punches and then just tucked the chin.
That Snake Island game where you guys almost lost the semifinals, like you were like pinned up against the glass.
That was the one.
That's
my
the
fight.
one.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's my fight.
okay, so there was no fight. Okay,
I think if you
Thanks, Tino.
separated, you guys would have done okay.
Yeah. How many fights do you have in the President's Cup?
okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, fair enough.
This guy.
Soundboard makes an appearance. Okay, I do want to go back to the NLL here for a little bit. Something that I'm sure we're going to do throughout this podcast a ton. But specifically, I want to talk about any of the or your guys' thoughts that I'm sure you probably heard from this conversation with Jamie Dowick a bunch of months ago now, where he called the CBA negotiations World War III.
I got so many opinions on this.
Well, okay, but specifically, the thing that I've been asking people is, like, he talked a bunch about these outlandish asks from the players, but nobody's been able to tell me what these outlandish asks are. Do you have any idea what that could be?
To be honest, for the most part, everything that I'm hearing is it's mostly just transparency based, right? Like being able to see their books and see where everything is. And I think the reality of us being owned by a lot of NHL teams is like the books are quite mixed, right? Like they'll be in a team that has a venue, but the parking's a separate umbrella, the food's a separate umbrella, all of that stuff. So I think just along the lines of that, and I think Jamie's a pretty passionate guy, as we can tell, and I like to jokingly, like, this is a bit of a jab, but not really, because the Toronto Rock are a wagon again, and they're figuring it out. But, like, obviously, when the Toronto Rock aren't doing good, Jamie wasn't super positive about the league. Now, like, they're kind of back on a run, and he's in a better mood.
Are they
but,
back
like,
on a run? Because Big Mike was going right at Rosie on Twitter.
Big
I saw.
Mike is just, he's a special guy.
Mikey
He
K.
likes to.
Hey, Mike, there's an offer for you. If you ever want to come on this podcast,
We have a
would
net here,
Love
too.
to have you. We have nets. We have a shooting cage. We would love to see you step in there and see how you can do.
That would legitimately get clicks. There, get Curtis Dixon in here to shoot on him. I think a lot of people would love to see that.
I think we'd have to make sure Curtis doesn't try to take his head off.
Do you see the meme, the Dudley Boys meme?
Yeah.
Oh, it's electric.
Yeah, it
Lot
is.
of
If you
free
haven't
time.
seen it,
A lot of free time.
check out Christian's Twitter. Him and Curtis are the Dudley Boys putting Michael Corvallis through a table.
So, okay, then with the CBA stuff, before one of the other things that he said was that from everything he's hearing, enjoy this season. You know, like obviously implying that there may not be one next season, depending on how these. Did you guys hear? Was there any inkling of that whatsoever before he had said that?
My honest opinion of it, I don't know where Tyler's at it. I think like a lot of these big time ownerships, like they don't want to go through a holdout, right? Like I bet you if we go through a long holdout, some of them might just say, you know what, I don't even want to be involved in this business anymore,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's kind of, not that's a threat on their behalf, just the reality is they have so many other things going on under their umbrella. They have concerts they can book, they have all of that. So I'd like to think both sides could probably come to a resolution before it gets to that, but it's obviously, I'm just a player who's not even in the league. just a fan hoping that I have something to watch next year.
Do you guys have much communication with the PA, like with that specific with CBA stuff as the negotiations on go?
Yeah, so I am Calgary's representative for the union. So I have an idea, pretty good idea of like what's going on. But whenever we have questions as players, Zach Currier and Reed Reinhold make themselves available to answer our questions. They're obviously the president and vice president of our union. So they make themselves available. If we're unsure about something, we can ask them, and they make themselves accessible, and they're obviously very knowledgeable in the situation. Yeah, I mean, a couple years ago when we went through negotiations, there was sort of the threat of a strike. We're going through it again. The biggest thing for us as players, I think, is free agency. We
Never heard of him.
we kind of get the short end of the stick when it comes to the free agency thing, and that's a big that's a big part of why Christian's in the situation that he is. Like, he's been in the league since he was what feels like 12 years old, and he's still under, the law of the Calgary Roughnecks, and he can't really do anything. He has no say in the matter because they have our rights for so long. So it's tough because, the league is not an old guy league, and you see more and more all these college guys coming out. They're excelling right away. It's a younger and younger guy league every year, but our free agency status means that we're not going to be in a spot to actually get to free agency because there's a good chance we're not even in the league anymore. And if we are at that point, there's a really good chance we're out of our prime and we're not worth anything to anybody anyway. So we get hosed a little bit on that, and I'd say that's probably our biggest ask. And then this franchise tag thing, like, it's just making it a little, if it is going to be a thing that the owners, if it's a hill they die on, then raise the price of that franchise tag so that it's a little more reasonable for guys to sort of agree to it.
Speaking of, you mentioned some of the American guys. Did either of you see Sauer's debut? Did either of you guys watch the Philly game?
Yeah. I mean, he has some shake to him. I think, like, my biggest thing watching him is, like, I'm just, like, nervous for his head. Watching him play field lacrosse, he's pretty reckless. Box lacrosse is relatively more aggressive sport, so I'm just curious to see, like, if he kind of plays with that same reckless abandon he does as in field. But for his first game, it was pretty impressive. And then you obviously have Brendan O'Neill on the other side, running through everything and anything, getting to the rack.
He scored this. Sauers scored this goal. I think he had two in the game, but it was. I don't know if you remember who's that young kid that played for Snake Island, and he scored that goal like late in the game.
The one that had like 6 on me.
Yes, but he had that one late.
Winner Riviera, I think it was.
That's his name. Yeah, and he
pretty good player.
Callback.
Pretty good player.
Well, Sauers
to the Ohio State. Shout out Jesse King.
Also,
Justin Anasio.
Why does
Logan Shush?
Why is it the
Jake Withers?
I don't understand. Every
Austin
time
Shanks.
Okay, can you shut the fuck up?
Eric Fennell.
Nick Myers.
I'm moving on.
Head coach Nick Myers.
I'm moving on. Sauers
Come
had a
on
great
the podcast,
debut.
Nick.
I'm moving on. Legitimately, I'm at the end of my notes here, and you guys just continue to ramble on about just fucking nothing. Is there anything you want to get off your chest before we wrap up this episode? This feels like a good place to kind of close things out.
I feel like we have to have something to talk about. No, like this is it.
It's the teaser episode. What do we call it? The pilot. What do you do?
Yeah, but if it's electric and gets 1 million views, like then
like
then it's episode 1.
This could be our only episode ever.
This is not going to be our only episode ever.
That's true. Tino quit his other thing for this, so it's not. He's like, it's not our only episode.
There is equipment invested.
Tino, if you want to wrap it up, you can. But
we might just stay here and talk.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I wish the people listening and watching could have seen these two and how they acted the second that the microphones got turned on and the headphones. Well, first of all, Pacer couldn't even figure out how to put on these fucking headphones.
There was some tactile issues with us in the headphones for a bit there. We were struggling. But
is that the right word? Tactile issues?
Sensory? I don't know. What do you
sensory issues?
Yeah, you said that. Do we hold the earphones to our face to talk into them?
No, I said, do I look at the microphone when I'm talking?
Sorry.
Dummy.
You also said if you say anything confidently enough, then people are going to believe it. So sure, that's the right word.
True. And he said tactile confidently. I'm calling him on it because I don't think that's the correct word.
Jamie?
Yeah.
Jamie
looked that up. Jamie looked that up.
We also, I'm not going to say who it is, but there's a chance of an A-list celebrity coming on.
Yeah, let's not spoil that. Let's not ruin that.
It's propaganda at this point.
Yeah, let's not even mention it.
I'm gonna mention at least A-list celebrity just to get the, I want it to build towards something. I want people to feel good about it.
Rihanna, come on the pod.
Kendrick, Drake. You guys are coming up. Is there anything else that you guys want to get off your chest before we wrap things up? What do you think?
No, I feel better about it now.
Good. You feel okay about your first hosted podcast?
I wouldn't say hosted. I feel like more of a guest right now.
You're a guest?
Yeah, I feel like
that's a problem. That's a problem.
I don't know. I was just happy to be here.
Yeah, Tino, I don't think we touched on your
life.
Where were you born?
Where do you work?
People don't want to hear that from me.
They do. Why? Honestly, why are you here?
Why am I here? because I'm pursuing full-time broadcasting. I'm tired of driving a recycling truck, and you reached out to me and said you had this idea. And when you brought Delbs on as well, I was even more fired up because that means honestly less work for me because I can throw little like bombs here, and then you guys are going to bicker about them. So it's legitimately having you here to bicker with Pacer is better for me.
We're good at arguing.
That's true. Yeah, I don't have much else.
Yeah, I'm good.
Cool. All right, folks. Well, thanks for joining us for the first sort of episode, the teaser of Morning Shootaround. Also, can I get some credit for not screwing up the intro? I got the intro done in one
It was
take.
electric. Some of his other stuff, he's fumbled every.
The
intro.
first interview that we did here,
He's got that random noise happening in the back of the gym here.
the haunted,
Sketching him out.
Yeah, I don't love that. The first interview that we did here, I started it and then didn't know the name of the performance center. So I was like, here with Tyler Pace at
I hope you
where are we?
realize he literally names every business the same thing.
So I'll never make that mistake again. Never have to worry
Guess
about
what the media company's called?
Pro Caliber Media. Oh, man.
so
You're an idiot.
original. All right, folks, that's Morning Shootaround. He is Christian Del Bianco. That's Tyler Pace. I'm Tino Fera. Thanks for joining us. More episodes to come.